Hey guys, giving you a part two. Fear was trying to knock me off from not saying what I had to say. So this is the part two real quickly of chasing your fears, okay? Chasing your fears and knocking out your fears, getting that divorce from your fears here. So make sure you look at part one of the video here. But fear will cause these things for you, okay? So a main thing, what I was talking about in the last video, is doing these exercises here so that you could have a relationship, not a relationship with fear, but get to understand fear and bring up these issues from the root of the problem. And what I was trying to say in the last video was that you want to bring in and attract the spirit of fearless. That's the energy you want to attract. You want to attract the spirit of being fearful, not being fearful. You want it to be fearless. Okay. So I was picking up intuitively that these kind of exercises would write it. Of course, journaling it. All right. And as always, what I like to say is mental health is very important here. So if any of your fears are triggering anything that could have happened to you in your childhood or your adulthood, anything mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, or sexually, don't be afraid to seek out and speak to someone to be able to help you to navigate through that. Because the thing is, you want to be able to look at these situations and say, you can no longer be with me. You're not a part of me anymore. You know what I mean? You want to make peace with whatever it is that the spirit of fear is bringing towards your way, okay? Because as I said in the first video, fear is not going nowhere. I hate to say that, but you could, in my opinion, intuitively, you could knock fear down a lot of levels. And I feel like you have to start with yourself. Now, a lot of people, your fears may be about what's going on in the world around you. I feel like before you get on that level, look at the inner trigger fears that you have within you, because I feel like people would know how to react to the fear of what's happening in the world when they know how to react to the spirit of fear itself. So if you look at what's going on in the world, but you say to yourself, well, dang, I'm still having fear about this, and that, and me. Like immediately if you see things that's going on in the world and you connect it towards you, you're still dealing with battles of fear within yourself. So I do feel like chasing the fears have to start within yourself first. You have to get to your inner self within the root of the problem. Please make sure when you're doing these fears, that when you're doing these type of mental exercises and spiritual exercises, that you are taking care of yourself first and not really adding anybody. But of course you're going to be adding in people, because a lot of you guys' fears are definitely triggers of what could have happened, you know, in your childhood that could involve people. Okay. Now, I wanted to show you this book that I came across intuitively. And to be honest, I feel like you guys should look for books similar to this title or this exact book. I feel like this book can help you if you are religious, if you are spiritual, if you're both. You know, maybe some people that don't believe in anything, but I feel like you should look at it, because this book is a really good book. It's called Fear Not, A Divine Restraining Order Against the Spirit of Fear by Dr. Francis Miles here, okay? Really good book to help you to break the contract with fear. Now, what I wanted to say on the second part about fear, a lot of us have our fear, and it could be coming from our bloodline. That gets even deeper. We can have a lot of things that could be coming from generational trauma that's been installed in us, and that's how it's repeating the cycle. Something similar what I said in the last video about that's why some of us can have fear triggering, like when I was trying to explain how if you were a child and you had fear of things, and if your parents didn't really try to find ways of correcting that fear of what you had and they masked it with something else, that can be because of what they endured. You know, most of our parents repeated what they were taught from their parents. So that fear can be installed. Now, the reason why I said this book is pretty good, because this book, listen, the message I'm saying, guys, you got to have an open mind about spirituality and an open mind with religion. It can even be both, because we have the courts of higher ups, the court of heaven. And what I'm saying is that in the other world, in the spiritual world, in the spiritual dimension, they have courts, they have schools, they have homes, all of that. Okay. So like I said, this is going to be for my spiritual folks and religious folk. Please just be respectful if you're going to comment anything, because, you know, you got to believe what you believe in. Okay. But it is a life after the afterlife. There's courts there that is called the courts of heaven, courts of the spiritual realm, that can help you to get a restraining order against fear. Because again, as I said in the first video, fear is a spirit.